Hey there! Welcome to the Flute 360 podcast. I'm Dr. Heidi Kay Begay, and I'm a flutist, educator, coach, and podcaster. My God-given mission is to serve you. I am passionate about guiding you, the modern-day flutist, to discover your unique voice on and off the stage. The goal of this podcast is to help you thrive, both as an artist and as a musicpreneur. Go ahead and grab your espresso, your favorite notepad, and let's get to it. Today's episode is episode 328, and it's titled Finding Your Flute Voice: How Rabbit, Tigger, and Owl See You, with Erin Rauch, Part 10. Are you craving real support in your flute journey? Something beyond scales and etudes? Inside the Flute 360 Accelerator, you'll find curated templates, guided journals, a book club, and live sessions where you can pick my brain for both your artistic and career growth. Whether you need feedback on your playing, support with your studio, or clarity on your next creative move, we've got you covered. It's truly the best of both worlds: high-level strategy and a warm, supportive community that understands your journey. The free trial is available now, but only through May 15th, 2025. Click the link in the show notes and see you soon.
Hello.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. How was your week?
It's been busy.
Yeah.
Busy, but awesome.
Yeah. Busy. How so? Like, I know you're a mom and you do all the things, but what's like amping up in your world right now?
Work for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got clients. My plate is full, so I actually had to hire help.
Oh my goodness. That's a good problem.
It is a great problem.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really busy. As you know, like there's a Flute 360 recital going on, end of the school year. And so I know a lot of teachers, myself included, and you are feeling like, oh my gosh, the end of the school year is here and going into summer lessons. It's, it's a beautiful time, but it's havoc and beauty all at once.
Yes. And I have a son who's graduating. So
congratulations.
He's wrapping up all the senior stuff. And then my daughter's going into middle school. So it's all the things.
Oh my goodness. What's your son's name?
His name is Ethan.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that being said, that kind of jogs my memory. You have some sort of like senior group on Facebook to help moms with them leaving the nest?
The transition. Yes.
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. I posted on social media asking, is there a support group? Because I think I need something. And then everybody said, well, if you find one, let me know. So I was like, let's just make one.
I love that. I love how you are very driven and you just take that initiative. And that's a beautiful segue into today's topic about creation and delegation and seeing that something maybe is missing in the market, something's missing in your life, and you want to fill that void. So good for you to notice and say, hey, like, this is something I need. It's not there. Let's create it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I couldn't have even tried that or planned that if I had tried.
I know, right?
That was a little magical. So we're going to run with that. But before we get into the creative process, I would love for you to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and just get to share your backstory, who you are, and what you're up to right now.
Yes. So my name is Erin Rauch, and I'm a mom, a wife, a flutist, lifelong flutist, and a virtual assistant, and a certified life and performance coach. And I wear all of the hats so gratefully. It's just, I get to do these things every day, and it's living the dream. And I'm so grateful for it.
I'm appreciative of what you just said. I get to do these things instead of I have to. So good job on like checking the language. And it is an opportunity when you get to see like, I get to do these things. And I remember changing that language at the beginning of my DMA. I would go to the library, have stacks of books. My husband would carry them to the car. And I would say, oh, I have to do this research paper. Oh, I have to do this recital. And he would encourage me and he would say, no, this is an opportunity. You get to do this.
Yes.
And just having that shift of paradigm, that paradigm shift of going, oh my goodness, this is a blessing. This is an opportunity. It really shifts. Like your words are so powerful.
Absolutely. So powerful. And no matter where we are in life, there was a time when we wished for these problems. So yeah, I never lose sight of that. I have worked for this.
I love that. So you mentioned one of your hats is you are a coach. Can you unpack that a little bit more? You said something about performance coach.
Yes, I'm a life and performance coach. So I help people get to the root of what's holding them back.
Okay.
And it's almost always something in their minds. We call it the head voice. There's a head voice that points to the past. It's focused on limitations. It lives in scarcity. And it's necessary because it's trying to protect us, but it also keeps us from moving forward. So I ask powerful questions to help people tap into their heart voice, which points to the future and abundance and hope.
Faith, hope, belief.
Yes.
Promises.
Exactly.
Oh, very cool. And then probably also by doing that too, redirecting them to live more in the present.
You got it.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Because even the future is unattainable. Like we can make plans all day long, but sometimes life has a funny way of these twists and turns. And so we have to roll with the punches. But I've done
absolutely.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is living in the present and having those tools for that and making plans for this hopeful, beautiful future.
Use what you have right now and run with it. Yes.
How did you get into that line of work?
I started out in network marketing. And yes, so I was part of that world. And I knew that I didn't want to be corporate employee anymore.
Okay.
My last job was a self-storage facility manager. And I had been doing that for over 20 years. And I was just done with corporate. And I thought that my path was going to be network marketing. And that was going to be what freed me. But I still love that. But what I found was through my connections there, I had this incredible life coach who was also a business coach. And he opened up a certification program so the rest of us could learn to do what he does. And so I took it. And it has been absolutely life-changing. It's transformed who I am on the inside.
Okay.
So.
And so because you went through it and you saw the transformation from firsthand experience, you were like, oh my goodness, I want to share this with my community so others can have the same transformation.
Exactly.
Good for you.
And that's where the VA work came in too. So around the same time that I quit my last job, I was trying to make the network marketing thing work and think my dogs barking.
We have cats meowing here on the show all the time.
Okay, good. So I had been trying to make network marketing work for about a year and the COVID came around. So I quit my job in 2019. Then 2020 happened. And my life coach opened up a virtual assisting agency so he could help a lot of us learn how to work from home.
Okay.
So I jumped into that too.
Wow.
And I found that I love it. So what I do is I combine virtual assistants with life coaching to give it something that kind of the market doesn't really have.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I use coaching to ask my clients the powerful questions that I ask anybody who wants a life coaching session, but it helps them dig into their creative genius and figure out what they want to do with their business and how I can help.
Wow.
And I then take that.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
I jump into, for a lot of the clients, I'm a social media manager.
Okay.
So I'm in their inboxes selling their programs to their clients, and I use life coaching there too.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's so fun.
It has this amazing ripple effect. It's like, how can I help you in all these different ways along the same journey?
Yeah, people don't know that. They think they're just getting a VA, but it's so much more than that.
They have no idea what they're in for.
That's right.
In a very good way.
Exactly.
Going back to that one individual, that gentleman who was like, hey, I have this program. Hey, I can teach you how to work from home. He obviously had a huge impact and influence in your life during that season.
Huge. Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. I kind of want to unpack that a little bit more. So was it his present? I mean, seriously, because for an individual to open up your eyes to new opportunities, for you to see and reimagine your life, that is profound, because we are creatures of habit. We like to do the regular routine. I'm comfortable here. But, with the pandemic and things shifting for you and your world in that time, you probably started questioning hey, I don't like corporate. Hey, what's out there? And for an individual, that's why I love education so much, because you get to be a part of that process of showing the person the door, the student, the client the door, and saying, hey, I can lovingly walk through the door with you, but it's your choice. And I want to give you the tools. Now you take it and run with it. So it sounds like that one particular gentleman obviously had an impact for you to trust him, for you to see something that he was showing you, to say, I want that. So was it his presence, or was it his demeanor? What was it that caught your eye?
It's everything. At the time, he was huge in the network marketing space. So that was what I was getting coaching for with him. But it turned out he is this incredible life coach. He really sells you on the vision for your life. And makes you feel like you have these unique gifts that you can use to help other people and build the life you want.
So very empowering.
Very, yes.
That's neat. And
he ran the life coaching performance school with another coach who he's my one-on-one personal coach. I to this day, we're in constant contact. So it's made a lifelong impact.
Good for you. That's phenomenal.
Yes.
I just wanted to go through that pivot and that specific season of your life, because that's the starting point. And then from there, it's this, not the starting point, but that's the starting point to this ripple effect that we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of people may overlook that person, or overlook that season and that transformation, but it's a huge deal.
It is. When you're down and you're feeling because I have spent a lot of my life feeling like I don't have anything to offer the world. And when you're in that place, sometimes just that one person who believes in you more than you do can give you that push. And then it starts to come together eventually.
1,000,000% yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you're down and out and it is so bleak and it feels so daunting and overwhelming and dark, you think, oh, there's nothing left for me. I have no purpose. And all right, so I'm just going to curl up in a ball and cry.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. I've done that so many times.
Me being this overdramatic over here.
Nope.
But then when somebody shows you a little bit of the light and shows you your potential, it's like, oh, somebody believes in me. I can do this. Okay. Yes. And then you pick up momentum.
You see something in me. Okay, maybe it's actually there. I'm going to trust you.
I love that. So then going into your work then of you empowering your people and putting the seed of belief into them during your work of empowerment and life coaching and VA stuff, I'm curious, how much of your VA clients are also your coaching clients, or do they kind of separate you and say, Erin over here, Erin over there, keep one hat, or are you wearing the same hat for for most of your clients?
That is a great question, and it does overlap. So I have two coaches that are actually my coaches who I'm a VA for, and I do coach my VA clients. So
Okay.
there's a
Wow.
lot of overlap, and it becomes this just beautiful blend of something that I don't think anybody knew was missing from that space, but it's great. I think my clients and I feel like it's this great balance.
Okay. So just kind of painting a picture, I'm envisioning like Jane Doe. She hires you to say, hey, please, I'm going to delegate you, the virtual assistant, the VA, the back end stuff of social media and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then if she is going through that creative project and marketing her class or whatever the offering is, if she has mind roadblocks up here of imposter syndrome or I'm doomed, this is not coming together, then she gets to change hats with you where you get to coach her through and say, okay, maybe it's not going as planned, but let's stop, rework it. What can we do? And then you empower them with tools and positive thinking, and then you continue.
Yes, 100%. Wow. So if there's a launch, I jump in there with Jane side by side and we figure it out together. If there's a course, if they're just trying to get one-on-one coaching sessions set up, I'm in there. I'm alongside Jane and we figure it out together.
I love that because it's not just like when I hear VA, I think tech support, admin work, open up my emails, get it, girl, my pile is this big on my desk. But then you get to peek into, I'm saying mess with a grain of salt. You get to peek into my mess. You get to peek into my organization. You get to peek into my systems, what I'm building. So then you're kind of like my right-hand woman then to say, yes, I will help you with the organization structure your campaign, but let me lovingly come alongside you and help you with if there is a mess up in the head.
Yeah.
Again, you guys, I'm take all this with a grain of salt. If there's a mess up here where it's a good thing. Like you're not going to have a perfect launch. You're not going to have a perfect, like, oh my gosh, everything is butterflies and unicorns and daisies. But if there are roadblocks, I should say that if there are roadblocks, then you go in and help them through the mental side of things to actually follow through, execute, and see it to the end or whatever the goal is.
That's right. Yes, exactly. And I see things through to the end. I'm not a quitter. I don't let people give up on themselves. So if you task me with something, we're going to get it done. It may not be the way we thought it was going to be, but I'm great at pivoting and tweaking, taking what's not working, what could work better, what is working, and creating something else out of it. We do what we have to.
I think that's a beautiful marriage of your skill sets in a very unique way. Because, and I know like the listener right now is like, oh my gosh, Heidi, you're like beating this horse and you're like getting really giddy about this. What's the big deal? No, it's a big deal from the side of like, I'm putting on my business hat. You have now seen, what I talk about with the exercises with the 4 circles, this Venn diagram. You're noticing your skill sets and what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what's missing in the market and how you can get paid. And in the center of the intersection of these circles, you're like, I can do this. And so what you're finding is a unique way to carve out your own path in a very Erin unique way where people are like, ooh, I have not heard of something like that. I want that because it's so specific and I can use that in my creative process or business.
Exactly. You nailed it. Yep. Yeah. That's anybody who's ever known me knows that I walk my own path. And I do it when I'm ready on my own timeline.
Yeah. No, and I just wanted to highlight that really, to the T, only because like that is so Flute 360. That is so like what, and that's why I wanted you on here because I knew a good portion of your path in your life, but I wanted to break it down and share it with, our flute friends. So that way they can feel empowered. Like, oh, I don't have to stick into this cookie cutter box that the world says I have to be in. If I am multi-passionate, if I am multi-talented, if I have these different skill sets, how can I uniquely see them for what they are and package it in a beautiful way to bring life and transformation for my community.
Yes.
So what advice do you have for that person if they are feeling really stuck, if they are like, that's great for Erin, she found her spot, that's wonderful.
Yeah. I know.
What advice would you give them?
So I have been that person so many times. My advice is to really get nitty-gritty about what it is you're passionate about. Take a good, honest look at your skills. And one of the most powerful questions that's been asked of me is, if your closest friends and family were to describe you, what 3 words would they use? And that's really helpful for me because you're using somebody else's words about you.
Okay.
And so they might see something you don't see, and maybe there's something there that you can use.
Oh, exactly. I love that.
Yeah. So if it's talking to a coach or somebody kind of neutral and talking these things through, I think that's really helpful. But even just journaling, just kind of asking yourself these questions. What do I want? What do I love? What would I do if nobody was paying me? What would I still be doing? Things like that. I think that's really important in figuring out your path, your unique path that is going to propel you forward.
That's amazing. That's an exercise for you, the listener, to do right now. Start picking your support group's brains. Ask them, what are the 3 things or the 3 traits that you see in me that you admire or you think that I'm good at? And I love that because now you can't self-sabotage then. Because if you ask yourself, like, what are you good at, Heidi? I'm going to be like, well,
I know.
and I'm going to sound like an Eeyore. But what you're doing is, because I said Eeyore, you're asking your rabbit friend, kangaroo, owl, to say something beautiful about you. So you're not Eeyore going, nothing is good about me.
Exactly. And we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
We're conditioned that way from so young to just kind of dampen what we think about ourselves and how we express that to the world. But our friends are not going to lie.
That is true.
They don't let us do that to ourselves.
I love that Winnie Pooh came up in Flute 360.
Oh, me too.
And it feels very appropriate that it came up with you because you're so soft and warm and just an open person and somebody I feel like I could go like, hey, Erin, like I need to pick your brain and you're just very welcoming and warm. So I love that reference came up in our conversation.
I love a good Winnie the Pooh reference. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. My mom was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. I feel like I grew up with Winnie the Pooh. A lot of us did. And and the classic Winnie the Pooh. And they're really cute characters.
I know. They're still relevant. I love them. Can't go wrong.
Maybe the episode title is something like, if you're Eeyore, you need to ask Rabbit, Owl, and Kanga for advice.
Yes. I even have a Tigger. My dog is Tigger.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is it Tigger from Winnie the Pooh?
It is. He has the stripes. He has the stripes. He's bouncy. He's fun.
I need a picture for the show notes.
Okay.
That is your homework assignment.
I'm obsessed with him. I have a million pictures. I'll send you one.
Is that not hilarious that came up and you have Tigger?
So funny.
I didn't even know.
No, you didn't. We've never talked about our pets. Except, the dogs and cats are barking.
Oh my gosh, Erin.
Cats are barking.
Love that. I love that so much. Oh, I could go down a rabbit hole with that alone.
I know.
Yeah, that's amazing. But see, that's alignment. And I will go down that rabbit hole just a little bit. What ends up happening is for Erin and I, for us to genuinely discover something about each other. I love Winnie the Pooh. I have a dog named Tigger. And for that to automatically come up, I just want to encourage you, the 360er, as you're building out your path and you're bringing your people and building out your community, your people will look like you. And so I don't know, and I don't think I said this at the beginning, but Erin is in our Flute 360 Accelerator program. And this conversation is so special to me. And I told her this pre-recording because I get to see her in a group setting, which is amazing. And I got to know you here and there through like your awesome feedback or questions. But for me to sit down and just be like one-on-one, just me and Erin, nobody else is here, is a really special treat for me.
Oh,
and
thank you.
The more you get to know she's a friend and also a client, but the more you get to know your clients, you end up turning into your friends. They are going to sound and talk and have similar interests as you. So the fact that here I feel very comfortable to share like, oh, and make a Winnie the Pooh analogy. And you're like, I have a dog named Tigger. That's not like, I know probably people may be seeing that and being like, that's a stretch. But I don't think so because like Sarah in our group, like she has a cat named, and I don't think she minds sharing this because we're talking about pets' names, but Sarah has a cat and I think it's a black and white cat and she calls her Lexi. Now, I have a black and white cat whose name is Star, but my other female cat in the house is Lexi.
No way!
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
And that's just one example. Like, I took ASL in junior high school, and I have flute students who are ASL interpreters. I have teachers who were ASL. Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
that's amazing.
When you see all these little clues, that is a good way to kind of wrap up what Erin and I are talking about. You're building out your own path, and that's good for you for empowerment and stuff. But as you're forming out your own path, you are building out opportunities for your people to be transformed. And you know you're in the right spot when these conversations sync up, when these personality traits sync up, when interests sync up. And not that Erin or I or me and Sarah are going to be twinsies through and through, because you are a unique individual. But I think that this is kind of like a check mark along the path of going, ooh, my people are like, I feel like they're kind of like a mini me clone, where when I get to talk to them, I'm like, pinch me. You can't make this stuff up. So those could be your clues along the way that, hey, I am in the right spot. I don't think it's woo-woo. I really don't. I don't think anything is coincidence. But anyways, I went down a really deep rabbit hole. Yeah. But do you agree with that? Like when you have conversations with your people and things, like it kind of is this check mark along the way of going, look at that.
Oh, completely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the fact that we're sitting here, that I'm talking to you, a legit professional flutist and flute teacher, is a dream come true, because I had counted myself out of that world a long time ago. And I never thought that would happen. So the fact that we're having this conversation and we have these things in common, and that I'm part of this group, that I have to tell you, I was so scared. Imposter syndrome. I thought you were going to realize that I'm not a professional and like, this is not the group for you. Get out.
Oh, no.
That was just me. That was my head voice talking.
Okay. Can you imagine? Like, banned.
I know. No, but the group is so welcoming and nice and approachable. And everybody is just, that's not the flute world that I grew up with when I was in high school and tried to be in college.
Yeah, it can be competitive.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're finding the opposite. So I'm
the opposite. Good. Not that you came off that way. That was just me, my imposter syndrome.
Well, thank you for that clarification. And
yes.
I'm glad you talked that voice down, because the group wouldn't be the same without you. So going into you saying like, I counted myself out as a flutist. When did you come back to the instrument? And can you give any encouragement and advice to the flutist out there who has maybe a small or big hiatus from the instrument?
I never quit, but I did quit performing because I was a student in the 90s. So that was before online lessons were a thing. Online groups were really, we were still in chat rooms. And not everybody had a computer at home back then. So it was so different. I thought that the only possible way that I could be part of this flute world was to go to college and get the degree and have a career in performance or education. But then I tried to audition for the music program at a university, and I was told I wasn't good enough and sent on my way. And that destroyed me.
Oh,
But I never stopped playing.
okay.
I just stopped performing. So about 10 years after that, I would still noodle around on it at home. But someone asked me to join a community band. And that was back when I lived in Texas. So I joined it. And then we ended up moving to New Hampshire.
Wow.
And there was no community band that I could find. So I kind of stopped again. But that's when I found online lessons and a community of other flutists. Some were professionals, some were not, some were adult, just starting to learn, adult learners. And we all just had this love of the flute in common. And that has changed my world, just being able to be part of a community like that.
Good for you. And good for you to seek out that community.
Yes.
Because you had to take that initiative and effort to say, hey, flute may not look like this, but and shame on them too. And that's a whole nother
story.
That's a whole nother soapbox I could be on for the next 2 hours.
I know.
Don't be an education and don't be an educator if you can't give objective feedback in a supportive way. Where you can still lift the person up without minimizing them and how they want to participate in music making.
Yeah. There's a way to do that without
for sure.
crushing the person's dream.
Let's not be toxic.
Please. Yes. So now I play in a community band and a flute choir and do things with online groups like Flute 360. So I feel so complete now.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. And for you to say, I'm going to continue in my way of music making and having the flute in my life in a different way. It may look different than what they say, but I'm going to do it for me because it brings me joy or it brings me fill in the blank. And yeah, good for you. So I see a lot of times you playing flute duets and posting it up on Facebook with your daughter.
Yes. She is 10. So she's been playing for about 5 months now. And it's so much fun watching her learn and that little spark that I had in myself. I wanted to play the flute from the time I was 4 and I had to wait until I was 10. So
wow. So
yes.
Really early on.
Really early. My mom tells the story. I heard California Dreamin', where they have the flute solo. And she said I was like transported to a different world.
Shut up.
Yes. And since then, I've actually performed that flute solo. So it's like full circle.
I love full circle. Flute 360. That's the coolest flute beginning origin story I've heard.
I was obsessed.
Love that.
And then when I got to 6th grade and started to play in the band, they tried to give me a clarinet.
You're like, get this out of here.
No.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I've known
girls
since 4.
meant to play the flute. Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. You might have to, my creative juices are flowing in my brain. You may have to get some like illustrator, or you're an author, you write. You should write a book on the 4-year-old Erin, who heard California Dream, and have some illustrations and really beautiful, like I'm just seeing stars and just that California vibe, or just dreaming big. Like it's an illustration, it's some sort of illustrative book on finding an instrument, finding that joy, and then going through the journey.
That's a great idea.
Okay. Well, if you want to draw or, an illustrator, I doodle.
You do?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. So please.
Okay. I've been drawing Tweety Bird for a long time.
Tweety Bird was my favorite.
Yeah. I love Tweety Bird.
Me too.
What was his thing? He always said, I thought I
I told Putty Tat.
Putty Tatty Tat. Putty Tat. Man, between Tweety Bird and Pooh Bear, we are covered.
I know.
That is so cool. No, seriously, I love that flute origin story. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to play the flute before I could say the word flute. My mom always says I would say, I want to play flute.
Oh my goodness. You need to record her as an encouragement. You don't need to. You need to record her like talking about that story from top to bottom.
That's a great idea.
So you can like archive it for not only you, but then for your daughter and your family.
Yes, I will. Thank you for that inspiration.
That literally is an Eric audio engineer thing because like he speaks Navajo and he has these Navajo stories and the language, unfortunately, to some degree is disappearing. And so whenever he hears like his grandmas talk about something or even my mom going down memory lane, he's always like, we need to record that. We need to record that. And that's like his audio engineering world to preserve stories and history and things like that.
Oh, I love that. That's a great story too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, food for thought for somebody out there just thinking about like the possibilities of recording and, you know, books and creations. So speaking of creations, and we were talking about you helping creative artists bring their project to life. Yes. I'm curious in terms of like midway through this April series, I was talking about delegation. A lot of times, and I want to unpack this topic and pick your brain a little bit. A lot of times flutists will come to me and they will say, I have this project idea. I have that project idea. I have a book. I have an album. And we're creative artists and we paint and we see colors and stories and we want to do all the things.
Yep.
So I say, pick one and then flush it out and, you know, see it through if that's something you really want to put your time and energy into. Then they hit roadblocks of going, I don't know how to do X. I don't even know what the next step would be here. So we've been talking about, and this is something that I mentioned in passing, but I never really broke down the delegation process. So like I tell my clients all the time, like you can delegate, hire somebody through Upwork, find somebody on social media who obtains the skill set that you're looking for that either A, you don't have time to learn, or B, you can outsource it to that person within their zone of genius, where they can help bring your project to life. So since you are a VA, can we talk about delegation and do people have worries around delegating things to you? Like, what does that look like? So that way we can normalize delegation for the Flute 360ers who want to possibly hire someone.
All the time. So I have clients who come to me and they say, I know I want to hire you, but I don't know what to tell you to do. So that happens all the time. Okay. So we talk it through. And what I always tell them every single time is, what do you do that lights you up? When you do it, what makes you feel like you are in the zone? What makes you feel like I would do this for free? What brings you energy rather than drains it? And then I want another list of the opposite. I want a list of the things that make you feel just drained and, tired. I'm over this. I know I need to do it, but it's a time suck. And it's an energy suck. Yeah. What are those things? And then I take the energy sucking things off their plates because it always seems that those are the things I enjoy doing.
Really?
Yes.
So the unsexy things, you're like, give it to me.
Give it to me. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And if I don't know how to do it, I will learn. I'm a fast learner. So.
Oh, my brain's going a mile a minute. And I think you can see the wheels turning in my head. I'm trying to, why do you think that is? I think it's a great thing, but why do you think that is?
It's easier doing it for somebody else, I think.
Okay.
It's like, best thing I can compare it to is I used to have, when I was in my 20s, I had this friend. We would make each other's phone calls for them. Like we'd set each other's appointments, make bill arrangements for each other because we didn't want to do it for ourselves.
Okay.
So I think it is something along those lines. Like if people don't like going through their Facebook inbox, they find it just, it's
daunting.
Attention. Yes. Yes. But I enjoy that because I'm looking at it with a different set of eyes. I'm not looking at it as, oh, this is something that I have to make this sale, or this person's saying this, how do I respond? I'm looking at it from a lens of, how can I contribute to this conversation? What can I do? What can I respond with to sound like my client's voice, get the same message through, but maybe in a different way that they hadn't thought of?
Ooh, you're kind of like an actress. You get to,
I am.
right?
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
That is a great comparison, because I do spend time getting to know how my clients speak, what they would, what they wouldn't say, and just their overall style.
Yeah.
Their branding.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure to a certain degree that segues and dovetails beautifully over into your flute world. Because as flutists, we get to put on different hats and character changes and,
absolutely
plot twists. And so getting to be that storyteller through your flute. And I just want to highlight that because look at what we're talking about. Like your different skill sets, like as a flutist, can dovetail and piggyback off beautifully into being a VA or being into your zone of genius or whatever hat you're wearing. So don't see it as I'm just a flutist and only a flutist and I can't veer off that path. What can you add into your flute world arsenal in terms of like, oh, I love organization, like Erin. Oh, I love doing those tasks that are unappealing to her clients. I love doing that. And then a new path is formed. You've created services and you get to show up in a very authentic way where people recognize you as that unique thumbprint. And they're like, ooh, Erin would be perfect for this. She's a musician. She would get my world. She loves to do the unsexy things. And I need help, organization, and somebody to brainstorm and for somebody to be a soundboard for me.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Nice. So we talked about a lot from like just your path and the creative process in terms of like what you do and how you came back to the flute. You gave some great tips in terms of delegation and also just the creative process of like that negative self-talk. I know we've covered a lot of ground, but I think that there is a beautiful thread that connects all of it. Hopefully we were able to paint that picture.
I'm hoping so.
For the listener. So as we wrap up, is there anything is there anything in our dialogue that we missed that you think is crucial that we highlight for the listeners so that way they feel really empowered or they have another lesson or tip that they can implement in their life today?
I say I want to leave it with do what speaks to you.
Okay.
Your path doesn't have to look like anybody else's. I know mine doesn't. And I hope that you use this as inspiration and empowerment and not something that you feel like you have to copy, because that's when we get caught up in trying to look like somebody else or be like somebody else. That's where we lose ourselves. So make sure that what you do is true to you and what you're passionate about. You can't lose.
Yeah, you can't lose. Even if you try something new and it was a flop, okay, well, you've now picked up new information, new insight. You can see what worked, what didn't work, what did you gel with, what didn't you gel with, and then you can tweak, edit, and then find a variation and go from there, experiment, and be continually curious.
It's all data. We learn as we go.
Yeah, it is data.
Yes.
It's an art and a science. I say that all the time, whether it's like emails or your lessons or just communication. There's an art and a science to a lot of things, and finding that balance and collecting the data, I think, is a really great tip for sure.
I tried so hard to follow other people's systems for so long. The successful people, the people whose paths I wanted to emulate. And a lot of it, sometimes the tips work for me, and that's great. But you have to go with what works for your individual brain and the way that you think and work. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's going to lovingly encourage the person to stop, pause, and reflect, and maybe ask those air quote tough questions.
Yes.
Like, and really ponder it and not just go through the motions of going, well, this is what they're doing. So, and copy it. But finding that path and finding what lights you up is going to take some reflection. It's going to take some questions and answering those questions and getting insights from the people who you love from the first exercise you gave us, and really taking a lay of the land.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's the unsexy work, but that's what moves the needle ultimately.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Erin, for sharing your story. Thank you so much for showing us like a very unique niche and a very unique spot in our industry that you're filling. And I hope that your story, I know it will, it empowered me. And I'm just so thankful that you share that story so you can empower others, for them and other flutists out there to say, oh, what are the possibilities, and get super excited for their life. So that way they can have that hope and excitement for the future.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. I am honored beyond belief to be here.
Oh, you're too kind. If there's somebody who wants to work with you or pick your brain further, how can they reach out to you?
I am on Facebook. It's just my name, Erin Rauch. And I'm on Instagram. I'm not the perfectly curated newsfeed, but I am on there. It's the.empowered.mom. And my email.
Okay. I can put that in the show notes. Yeah.
And I'll send it to you.
Awesome. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for those few exercises and being vulnerable, talking about your story. I'm so glad that you continued with flute, because now I have a new flute friend in the community, and it was a pleasure to get to know you better.
Mine too. Thank you so much.
Bye, Erin.
Bye.
Before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the Flute 360 newsletter. It's where I share bonus tips, creative prompts, behind-the-scenes updates, and exclusive invitations to events you won't hear about anywhere else. If you're ready to stay inspired and connected on your flute journey, click the link in the show notes and join the Flute 360 community today. I can't wait to see you inside. Let's talk about flute.